Hey everybody, my name is Hope Royster, and today we are going to be talking about the top 10 math apps that we can use in grades K through 6. These apps are what teachers have found most engaging and effective in their classrooms. You might want to have a QR scanner on hand for this presentation. So before we begin, I did a little bit of research, and this QR code takes you to a video of a school in Baltimore who just recently adopted a math program on their iPads, and the teacher talks about how much the students have progressed in their math grades and everything, and the students also talk about how they enjoy the app, like playing with the app rather than doing pencil and paper activities. So we'll come back to this video in case if we have some time, but our first app is going to be Mathily. This app is for grades K through 5. It is free, but there is a version that you can purchase. I think it comes with a little bit more than the free one does. This does send the teacher and the parent a progress report, but the student will choose an avatar and they'll move, determining their level, they'll get to move up the mountain as they answer the questions correctly, and if they don't answer them correctly, then it'll stop and explain this is why this is this answer. So it's really cool, and the teacher will also get to see that this is where we might need to stop and spend a little time on something. So that is Mathily. Math versus Zombies. You might want to know your parents ahead of time and the students ahead of time, because I know that the whole zombie thing can be a little bit of a conflict in some cases, but with this particular game, it is $4.99. It's grades K through 5. The student will be given an equation, and if the student answers the equation correctly, then they will be able to defeat the zombie before moving on. So it's a really good game for kids because it keeps them engaged and motivated to keep answering the right questions. So Math Monsters is our next app. It is ages 6 and up. This one is really cute because the numbers are these little monsters, and they'll speak or whatever, but it'll give you an equation in the middle of the screen, and it'll say like 2 plus blank equals 5. Well, at the bottom of the screen, it gives you different numbers. So it'll give you like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It won't be consecutive every time, but we'll just say for the gist of this example, we'll go with it. So 2 plus blank equals 5. So I would drag my 3 up to the blank, and it would congratulate me for getting it right or whatever. But this game not only well, I'll say this. It doesn't give the parents or teacher a progress report, but what you can do is kind of make it your own. Have the student jot down the equation they were given, underline the number that it was asked for, and then not only is that helping them mentally, but also physically with getting to understand the value and equations and stuff. So that will also be the parents and teachers' progress report that they can look at. For our next app, we are going to look at Marble Math Junior. There is a regular Marble Math for older grades. I believe it reaches on up into middle school, but since I stopped at 6th grade, we're just going to focus on Marble Math Junior. So with this game, it gives you directions, either an equation or determine greater than to less than on the board. So you'll roll your marbles. We'll just say it's greater than to less than. So you'll roll your marble, you'll find 9, 7, 5, 3, and 1. And once you finish that, you'll roll it into the portal and you'll move on to the next level. This one's really fun because it does change it up every single round. So it's not a boring, oh, I'm tired of doing fractions or tired of doing addition and stuff like that. So students are able to change it up a little bit. So that one's really cool. Let's see here. Sushi Monsters is our next one. This was cute because with this particular app, students are able to work backwards. So in the middle you have your sushi monster, and he's holding up a 4. So you have your sushi around there, and you'll have a 2, 3, 5, 2. So you have to figure out which of these numbers can I add to give me 2. So I'll drag my 2 up there and my other 2 up there, and the sushi monster will eat the sushi, and it'll be good. He'll ask you the next question. I said I have a 3 and a 5 at the bottom, so it'll be like, he'll be holding up an 8. So you drag your 3 and your 5, and you hit to get it right, and you move on to the next round. That one's really cool. I don't think this one sends a progress report, but before the student moves on, it gives stars according to how they did, and the student can bring the iPad up to you, and you can check them off and write down little notes if you have any concerns or things that the parent might want to hear. So the next app we are going to look at is Geoboard, and like any activity app or whatever, I would give my students time to play with this one before I just let them run loose with it. The reason why I say that is because it's just like a Geoboard that we would have, like the plastic ones with the rubber bands. So I would let them play with it at first just to give them a little time to figure out everything. And with this particular app, just besides making the shapes and everything, you can teach area, perimeter, and stuff like that. So if you're teaching fractions, it gives you a circle, so you can teach adding and subtracting fractions, so forth like that. I believe that it says grades 4th and up, but if your students are learning shapes and the properties of shapes, I believe that you could use this app as well, just because like it'll show you the sides, and then you can show the length if you're like comparing rectangles and squares. So that's really cool as well. So again, know your students, know their level of learning, and then determine where you think these apps can go. For our next app, we have Peter Pig's Money Counter. I couldn't find the link to this one to download an app, so I didn't put the QR code on here, but it is in the App Store because I did download it on my iPad. This one just breaks up the monotony of having an account, like the plastic coins and paper money, and it turns it into an iPad game, so you can sort out the different like different pennies, dimes, and nickels and such, and then you'll be able to compare which one's greater than. You'll be able to slide your little skateboard over to the pile of money that has the most versus the one that doesn't have the greatest value. So again, students are learning just money value. For our next app, we have Chicken Coop Fraction Game. This one, again, I think you should know your parents. I don't think it's a bad game. I didn't think the Math vs. Zombies was bad either, but with this game, you have chickens that are delivering eggs into these, into these nests. So I don't know if that would if it would just have some parents questioning the game or whatever, but students, besides that point, students are learning the value of fractions turning into decimals, so they'll get to compare that, and the game as a whole, it just makes it fun to learn for them. For our next game, we have Mathmateer. I didn't buy this one, and there weren't as many videos as the other apps that I had found, but since there are 56 different missions, I feel like this one would be a really good app to have because it can go all the way from comparing odd and even numbers to doing square roots. So between the first and the second, I feel like there's a lot of material in between that could really be a very important part in your classroom. So I'll definitely, if I got this one, I'll play around with this before just to make sure it's relevant in my classroom. And for our final app, we have Motion Math. This one was one of my favorite apps because it had multiple different games on it. It is free, but it's a 30-day trial, so according to how many emails you have, you can have as many 30 days as you want. But I would probably buy it because with the paid version, it does come with a lot more. I don't know, right here it says, take a minute to download. You can use my code BKDIG. That's just what you would give to your students. I think there's 50 slots for students, so your students join and you get to see their progress throughout the whole year, and you can compare that at the end just to see how much they've grown or what they might need help in. But again, it shows, or it's a lot of games, but your students will really enjoy it because as an adult, I I enjoyed it. But here is a video that just shows some students reviewing that. We'll watch it real quick.
With fractions, I'm half okay and half bad. It can be on the tip of my tongue, but I just kind of am like, what is that? I know what it is, but sometimes I just go, oh yeah, it's right there. You know level 5.
You have to place the fraction or decimal at the right spot on the bar. If you get like all of them right, then you move on to the next level and keeps going. Oh, then, oh, then. I loved it too. If my teacher gave me this as homework, I would love my homework a lot.
I did good. If you don't get it right away, it gives you the tiny hints that would help you, but it doesn't give too big of a hint. You can get effects, you can get fun learning, and you can get anything that you kind of want in a math. So it's kind of like a kid's dream at school.
I thought that was really cool to see those students playing the game, and also, you know, yeah, it was cool to see them playing it, and also, you know, giving their reviews as students. But again, Motion Math is one of my favorites because it had so much to offer. So in conclusion, these apps are allowing our students to not only just participate in these games, which they think they're playing, but it also allows them to grow educationally, and they're learning all these things that they might not just get if we stood in front of them and lectured all day, or even if they watched videos on it. So they're being able to learn these skills and then apply them through these video games, and it's really engaging them and keeping their interest where sometimes we might not always keep it. But although that there are these students that are just so gung-ho about it, we have to be sure to know all of our students, because although that those students may prosper from it, there might be some students that just learn better from paper and pencil or text and stuff like that. So we need to make sure we know them, so we don't harm our students. We need to make sure that we know all of our students, so we know which way works best for them. So that's all I have. I hope you have enjoyed this as much as I have, but I hope you have a great day. Thank you.